assault and batteries, but my trunk stay ever ready. Assault and battery, if you scared, you never ready.
Alright, this past weekend during Fanatic Fest, which was from New York, there was a little incident that happened with live streamer Neon, who I guess accidentally posted a video during his stream of Penta Unmasked. This has sparked a lot of controversy, more because, again, it's kind of out of Neon's control now because it was a live stream and Penta being caught on camera. You have millions of people following you and watching. They screenshotted it and basically spread it on the internet like wildfire. But for me, it's one of these things that now WWE is so focused on their views when it comes to algorithm and just being mainstream and really relying on these guys who are outside of wrestling to push the product to like bring more people in. What do you really expect with like this kind of stuff? And I'm not surprised that like slowly and more frequently the business, I guess, so to say, the backstage stuff of wrestling is now being exposed more than ever, whether it be on Unreal, whether it be from Speed's live stream, now Neon, you have Jelly Roll, you have a lot of the celebrities really coming in and they're really exposing everything that really goes on in wrestling. Logan Paul's another one. I think at the beginning, especially when he signed that contract, he did his whole live stream backstage. And you kind of saw the ins and outs of things you normally don't see. And sure, it's good for his channel. It's good to bring people in. But just to think like 20, 30 years ago, you never would have even seen a camera backstage if it was not for like documentaries or something really like groundbreaking like happening. But now it just seems like such a norm that wrestling is just getting more and more exposed. And, you know, and I feel more, I feel bad for Penta because, obviously as a luchador, you don't want your face being exposed. And although it wasn't like fully uncovered, he did have his face paint on, just gets to the point now where it's almost like disrespectful to a point. And I just think the more celebrities get involved, and they don't know any better, right? This guy's just filming backstage because I'm sure WWE told him, like, film, do your thing. A lot of people are going to watch. They might buy, like, tickets to SummerSlam after. And that's their whole thing. SummerSlam isn't selling too good. So it's like, let's bring in Neon. Let's bring in, let's do something with Tom Brady during Fanatic Fest. Just do whatever we can to get people to watch, get people to buy tickets. And in return, yeah, sure, we might expose like whatever, luchadors, on masks. You see the backstage stuff going on. And I'm not a fan of it. When it comes to Unreal, very similar. I think as a casual fan, I'm sure it's like cool to see the backstage stuff. And sure, it might bring in a lot of people. You hear a lot of these stories about the F1 series that they did where they kind of show the backstage storylines that kind of go into each race. And that's what made people more invested. And I'm sure wrestling's the same thing. You give the backstage story, what the wrestlers are fighting for, what it means to them, and it gets you compelled to watch. And it kind of builds a connection that you wouldn't have if you're just sitting and watching week to week. Unless you're obviously a real fan and you've been watching for a long time. But just the show in general, and I just think wrestling in general now has become so transparent when it comes to what's real and what's not. And there is no secret anymore. I think everything's just become so exposed, and now it's like, sure, it did make the waves around the internet for a couple days, but at the end of the day, everyone just forgot about it, and it's like, it is what it is at this point. But I just think there's so much more that goes into it when it comes to wrestlers kind of putting themselves out there more than ever before, and now really being part of that public figure. When it comes to TKO, I don't think they really have a boundary of like what is real and what is not real. It's like they want to open that curtain up backstage to anybody, even someone like Neon, who is famously known to cause problems, and you see him in the news every week when it comes to like either get him disrespecting someone or him being disrespected by someone because of like his antics and the stuff he does. And he's not a wrestling fan. We all know like I think he was at one point. I know he's not like watching week to week, and I'm sure this is just one of those things that WWE had him come in just to bring in views. But if you are going to bring in someone, bring in somebody who can actually be passionate about promoting the product, not someone who's like, kind of just doing it for the heck of it. But I guess that's what wrestling has kind of become now, where it's like they kind of do whoever is in the spotlight to kind of get themselves over. And it sucks because I think there are a lot of people out there like who can give wrestling a good name, like somebody like Timothy Chalamet, for example. Yeah, he's a wrestling fan. He knows what wrestling is, and he's a reliable name. So why not get him to do this kind of stuff over someone like a streamer like Neon? But just my opinion. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.